All right, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum, shalom, welcome, everyone. We are live with part 3 of The Fall of America book study. And this book was written by, of course, no other than the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And we are live, and me here with my co-host, Mayat. Peace and blessings, Queen. How are you?
I'm doing good, and you?
Yep, doing good. Fired up and ready to go. So we are on chapter 3. Chapter 3, self first. All right.
You ready to rock?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I just want to say hello to everyone who may join the program, everyone who is listening. It's just a pleasure to be here, and I hope that you enjoy the book study. And we're just going to take it away. Chapter 3, Self First. Self first. We, the Black people in America, do not think for self first. Failing to think for self first is the greatest mistake we, the poor Black people who are up from servitude, slavery of the fathers, can make. But for the slave master's children, our failure to think for self first is wiser than anything their fathers could hardly dream of in their day and time. Self first. In over 100 years, we, the Black people, have not learned to think for self first. This is due to the fact that we try to think something for the benefit of the slave master, something to make him smile at the freed Black slave. Trying to win the love of the white slave master has been our greatest mistake. Now it has become our gravest mistake. To have love for them means the fire of hell that God has heated and being heated up for both you who love the devil and the devil too. Do not blame the white slave master for your love and desire for them above your love and desire for Allah, who loves you while the white slave master does not love you. The devil's nature will not let him love you. The white slave master is so full of deceit that he can deceive you and all others. The Bible teaches us. The Holy Quran refers to the white slave master, the devil, as the arch deceiver. As a deceiver, the devil has no equal. He is the professional, the wisest of all deceivers. So from the slave master's preacher making parents up to today, so from the slave master's preacher making parents up to today, he is the professional and wisest deceiver of all of the civilizations of the earth. And he has deceived all of the civilizations of the earth. The Bible teaches you want to say something?
Yeah, I want to say something on there. Those are some very profound words, especially when he says that the devil is a professional. He's a professional. He's the arch deceiver. He's the wisest of all deceivers. Now, you understand where we have it as, certain people are laymen, and then certain people are professional. As what was that? GMC, I think they had a commercial where they would say, we are professional grade. So professional grade, professional, you're up in that elite sphere. And so by the slave master being a professional deceiver, the wisest of all deceivers, and yet our people still look to receive love from them. It reminds me during one of the protests, I believe it was for George Floyd, where they showed this young Black girl asking this white woman for a hug. Can I have a hug? And the white woman was like, no. I'm not going to give you no hug. I'm not going to give you no hug. I don't want to hug you. And she was just, why won't you hug me? Why won't you hug me? So you trying to force this demon to give you love, but here it says that they're incapable. They don't have the capability to give you love, yet you still beg this from them because you don't want to love yourself first. You don't want to serve yourself first. You want to look after, and be close to your enemy, who is the professional deceiver, a professional at their craft. But you look to show them love. It is really sickening, and it shows you the deep level of self-hatred that they have programmed into our people. Even when we just think about the words social programming, you've been programmed to behave in such a manner that is detrimental to your own self and don't even realize it. That's a big thing. That's a big thing. And for the God to say that the heat, the fire of hell will be for both of you. So you're going to burn along with the evildoer because you want to be close to the evildoer. You want to be equal with the evildoer. And I've said this before, we can never be equal to them. Never. Because why would you want to be equal to a dog? Why would you want that? So we really have to begin to take the time and really look at them and ask yourself, is this what you admire? Is this what you hold as a high value? Look how dirty and nasty that they are in their ways. And this is what you ascribe to? Shame. Shame.
You ain't lying. And not just and not when you mention the word professional, I thought of the word expert. They're beyond it goes beyond being professional liars. These people are experts at lying and deceiving and murdering and destruction. They're experts at it. And yesterday I was going through a rest stop as I was traveling, and this area was full of like this particular part of the city was full of white people. I'm not saying that black people did not use the restroom, but I just saw a large amount of white people, and every stall was filthy and disgusting. And all it, like what does it take to flush the toilet?
Right.
What is it? I mean, urine, toilet tissue everywhere, and I'm like, it was like at least 20 stalls in the rest stop, and each and every one was filthy and disgusting. And I'm like, these people are just simply nasty. I see it when I go to the gym. You can look if I'm in the locker room, and you can see the white women walk in, and the toilet tissue they leave all over the floor and walk literally right back out without washing their hands. And sometimes I just see what's going to happen when the black women come in. They already know better. They know better. For those white women, they come in and walk right on out. They are filthy. And they're expert liars.
Exactly.
The Bible teaches you that the Bible teaches you that he deceived the whole world. The white slave master, the devil, did not deceive us, the black people in America, alone. He has deceived every human being. Well, except the angels of heaven. The arch deceiver, the white man, has deceived the reverends that he has made, and this is why they will not accept Islam. They would rather go to hell with the white slave master devil if the devil will just honor them as a reverend that the devil has made. In the Bible, John in the Revelation sees the preachers and his followers burning in hellfire with the devil, the white slave masters. I do not care how much you teach or tell the reverend that he is headed for hell and following the white slave master, devil, they ignore the warning for the sake of the honor of the white slave master. But when you look into it, you will see that the white slave master is not honoring the reverend. He is fooling him. The white slave master cares nothing about the reverend that he has made. And he thinks that the reverend is a fool for following him. It is written in the Bible, which teaches the reverend against following the devil. The people who work as the devil's disciples are called reverend. The word reverend means to respect, but this is a false honor from the devil, and yet the reverend goes still, and he will walk right into the lake of hell fire with the devil, as
Mm,
long as the devil calls him reverend or father.
mm, 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 mm.
Some of the devil's disciples are called father after the Pope, the chief father of Satan's religion, Christianity. The Pope claims in the Bible that he will sit in the sides of the north and be like the Most High. That's in Isaiah chapter 14, verse 13 to 14. And yet Allah promised to pull him down to hell. And Allah is going to pull him down real fast. The Vatican, the home of the Pope, has gotten one of the worst beatings with plagues, snow, ice, and enemies. The worst beatings that you ever could have imagined coming to the head of the church. This shows that Allah, the supreme being, does not respect Rome and its father, whom they call Pope. The Vatican, if it were a holy place, we would not expect to suffer the curse of nature. We who live in America live in a cursed country. America is a cursed country. America is a divine place of exile for Allah's enemies, and He promises to use America now for a lake of fire in which to burn all of His enemies. The Indians, the first people who were sent, who migrated to America, the Indians were also the enemies of Allah.
Mm,
Self
mm,
first. The reverends are the enemies of our own black people. If the preachers do as the white slave master tell them to do, the white slave master kills them as he did Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. But since they are the devil's disciples, he should kill them if they do not obey him. That is right. If the devil wants to be a god like Allah, for Allah will kill those who do not obey him. So the devil kills those whom he sent and who will not obey him. So look out, Reverend. Be careful, Reverend. The white slave master has proved in our own eyes and hearing by killing Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., who thought he was blessed to go to heaven. But instead, he went to hell with his enemies. I do not mean a hell that is in the earth someplace. Brother Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. went to hell in the wickedness of his white enemies, trying to satisfy his white enemies. He gets no credit for all of the work that he did for his enemies. And his enemies know that. And I dare any one of the Christian theologians to try to prove that Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. went anywhere else. Good man that he was, Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. was deceived and frightened to this very heart. I'm sorry, he was deceived and frightened to his very heart by the enemy.
mm, mm, mm.
Comment?
Yes, yes, yes. That's very packed. First of all, when we're dealing with these titles that our enemy bestow upon us, reverend, doctor, this, that, and the other, and a lot of our people get caught up in titles, and for them, it makes them feel as if they're better and that they're closer to whiteness because they wear these titles. Now, as he said that Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., he was killed by them. And, when you were reading, and he was saying that he was killed because he didn't do what they wanted him to do. So therefore, he earned their death. That's the first time that I thought of it like that, because they sanctioned him, or they allowed him to speak on Negro business, speak on Black business. But when he switched over to talk about the war, now he's talking on international business. Now you're trying to stop the war machine. And nigga, I didn't give you permission to talk about that. I didn't give you permission to put your fingers in my business. Now you're trying to come in my business. Now I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill you because I didn't sanction you to come over here and talk. I sanctioned you to keep your nigga ass over there with them niggas and work that end of the deal. And so that's very telling. That's very telling.
Be an obedient Negro.
Exactly.
Stay in your place.
Mm-hmm.
And if you put one pinky toe outside of what we have allowed, what we allowed you to do, you're done.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Exactly.
Self first. Think for self first. When Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. talked with me at my home, I saw in him that he wanted to believe me, but he was so afraid of his enemies. Self first. You cannot serve two masters. I tried my best to put fearlessness in him. Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. admitted to me that I am teaching right. He admitted that the white man is the devil, but he was afraid to take a stand and preach that the white man is the devil. The white man had set Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. up with the $50,000 Nobel Peace Prize. For the money, the white man desired that Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. go to hell with the devil. The devil did take Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. to hell. If Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. had lasted to this day, he would have been in the same corner with me. The devil had Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. in his power through fear. But good-hearted Black brother, Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. had a good heart, but he was yet dead spiritually. Yet he was smart enough in his studies to see the truth of what I am saying. So I went down to the Coliseum that we had rented for a mass meeting, and I told the public what a great time Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. and I had at my home. And I told the public what a great man Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. was, and the white enemy showed Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. what a great man he was, and he set Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. up for the prize money. Just as it is written, the arch deceiver is capable of deceiving the whole world, except God's last messenger, Bible Revelations. So I want to go ahead, comment, and I'll show you something.
I just want to say that when we're looking and understanding Martin Luther King and his movement, and how, white folks was giving him money hand over fist. And even when they were down in Mississippi, and what's our beloved sister name? Fannie Lou Hamer. She was doing the Mississippi Democratic Caucus. They sent, Lyndon Johnson sent his people to send King a message. Hey, if you don't get her to stop this shit, y'all losing your money because I'm going to pull it all. And King went down there and got them to stop. Got them to stop so that he wouldn't lose money. And so, It's one thing to understand where the money comes from, but it's another thing to be a man of God, to be a man of principle,
Right.
and say, no, I'm not going to go that way. I'm not going to sell my people out for your money. You know, when I got into working for our people, and I would deal with certain people on criminal cases that they may have, and I will help them navigate through that, through the system.
Mm-hmm.
And it was this one group. I was working with this sister. She was a nurse in New York City, and her child was taken. And you know, I was her spokesperson. And in this community, there's nothing. The woman that I worked for was her spokesperson. She was a black RN. But this group where CPS take children, all these white women is like, you wouldn't believe how many of them in these CPS cases has taken their children. And they were I spoke at George Washington University, and it was nothing but white folks there. And I spoke in the manner that I speak. But even before I finished, they were on their feet applauding. White women were coming to me. Will you be my advocate? Will you be my advocate?
Mm-hmm.
Now, these crackers would have paid whatever fee I put out there, where I could have, you know, actually been rich,
Right.
but I turned it all down because I knew that at some point this would be a problem, because my talent and my skill is to be used for the betterment of our people. And if I use my talent and skills to help them, and then I'm receiving money now, so
Mm-hmm.
now my status of living has changed, because now I'm taking this devil's money to represent the devil. But when
Right.
it comes a time of, you know, you can't say this because this is who you are representing over here. You have to be able to say, no, I'm not doing that. You have to be able to have that foresight to be able to say this will conflict with my mission. And so when I told them, crackers, no, I'm not, my talent is not meant to be used in the manner of your situations. Man, they went to social media, they went to all this, try to destroy me. And
Mm-hmm.
I told them, you can't destroy me because you didn't make me. You didn't make me. I'm here for my people. So you can get mad that I didn't use my talents for you, but that's not what God gave them to me for. They're for the use of my people. And I believe if Dr. King would have been able to use that foresight and been led the right way, then maybe he would have had that strength to be able to say, not only just say to the messenger, you're right, but let me also teach what you're teaching. But because he was drunk off the money from the enemy, and then afraid to be able to say what needed to be said, that helped seal his doom. And that is a learning lesson for all of us to be able to watch and understand.
I think he just wanted to be a celebrity. The more I think about him as we read the book, I just really get the feeling that he had a mentality where he just wanted to be known and have celebrity status. It really wasn't about the people. I don't think it was about the movement. I think it was about, notoriety and just people noticing him and being famous, because a lot of pastors are like that. They just want to be known and put on a pedestal. But when you peel back the layers, they're not really doing anything to uplift Black people. But this is a picture of him when he received the Nobel Peace Prize. It's on the screen. Can you see it?
Yep, it's up. I see it. We see it.
Hmm. And That's what he got. That's nothing. I wonder where this medal is now. Maybe it's in a museum.
if not if not already sold to somebody else for money, because you know his children were in the business of selling his prized possessions for money.
Damn. Are
Yeah.
you are you serious?
Yes. Yes.
So they were struggling for money themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All of this for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing but a damn I have a dream speech this man left behind. Look at this picture too. It's gonna pop up on the screen. It's
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking on my phone. Okay, so this picture I found really interesting because look at it. Look at Martin Luther King Jr.'s face as he's looking at Elijah Muhammad.
Mm-hmm.
To me, in reading energy, he I believe that he's in awe. Like,
Mm-hmm.
is look at this little man that's making such a fuss in the nation, who is bringing black people together in such a mighty way, who's not afraid to say out loud the white man is the devil. In the in how when did he start his teaching?
It started in July 1930.
In the third, I'm talking about when they was lynching Negroes wholesale, burning down houses, crosses, and I mean, and he unafraid, fearless, and
Mm-hmm.
clear to me. You can see who the teacher is, and it's not Martin.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I see him looking at Elijah as if as the teacher that Elijah is.
Mm-hmm.
And this man, in my opinion, he's in awe looking at Elijah Muhammad.
Most definitely. Most definitely. Mm-hmm.
This picture here is I didn't know that Coretta was there as well. Coretta even met with Elijah Muhammad.
Oh,
And you see the
wow.
beautiful look on her face, the
Yeah.
beautiful smile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've never seen that picture before. I didn't know she met him.
Yeah, she met Elijah.
Wow. She
That's
is
a
happy.
beautiful smile. She's
Mm-hmm.
I don't and I was thinking, did I wonder I wish I could have been a fly on the wall
Exactly.
to know, like, did somebody crack a joke,
Mm-hmm.
or what was said between them two to make them smile, because everybody is in the picture is smiling, but she is simply elated
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
to meet Elijah Muhammad. That had to be a very beautiful moment. And then this picture here, because I'm a woman and I know this look,
Mm.
it was a lot going on here.
Mm.
Look at her face.
Mm-hmm.
Look at her face in comparison to his.
Mm-hmm.
He's just happy to be in the building. That's a
Mm.
look of sadness, disgust. She's
Mm-hmm.
contemplating something.
Mm-hmm.
I know that look because I've been there. And when
Mm.
a woman has that type of look, she want out. She
Mm.
it's to me this is a I want out look.
Mm-hmm.
Or like, what am I gonna do? But this is a look of hurt.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
She does not look happy right here. And
No.
he looks okay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Not on the same page. And then
Mm-mm.
last but not least, this picture right here, before we get back into the reading. This is just a dog and pony show.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Exactly.
Have you ever heard the term soul force?
Soul Force.
Yes, soul force.
It sounds familiar.
Because Martin Luther King Jr., he used the word soul force,
Mm-hmm.
telling the masses of black people in a nutshell to don't meet violence with violence. There's no measure for measure, no eye for eye, no tooth for tooth. No. Love. Be patient. Don't fight, but don't use physical force. use soul force. That's that love and passive resistance. Because eventually, although you have to feel the fire now, you feel the pain now. We're dealing with horrors and deaths and lynchings now. If you use soul force and you don't, you know, act like they're acting, then
Mm,
eventually you will get justice.
mm, mm, mm.
Because there was the youth in that day were ready to tear America down.
Mhm,
They
mhm,
wanted blood.
mhm.
And he was, he was telling them no. Passive resistance, love, and patience. That is how we're going to win this struggle.
Never win it like that.
Never.
Like that. Mm-mm.
And I got like a few more pictures. Do you know who this young man is? It's coming up now.
He looks familiar, but I don't know off the top of my head, but he looks familiar.
That's Marcus Chenault. Marcus Chenault. I think that's how you pronounce it. That's the young man at 21 years old who
Mm,
murdered Martin Luther King's mother, Alberta.
mm,
This is him. This picture of him is actually when he was arrested and put in handcuffs.
mm,
And the lady that you see on the screen, that's Alberta Williams. That's Martin Luther King Jr.'s mother. He walked into the church and killed her while she was playing the organ.
mm, mm, mm. Wow.
So
Did he ever
all
say why he did that?
oh yeah, yeah. Would you like let me see. Hold on. How let me stop sharing right quick
Mm-hmm.
and come back to you. You know what? I had it up, but I took it down. That's a very good question that you asked me. You're gonna get a kick out of this one.
Mm.
Oh, you're gonna get a kick out of this one right here. Let me see. Hold on. Oh no, it's right here. Here I go. Okay, now. Um. Oh no, hold on. That's it. But let me see. I wish I wouldn't have closed. So okay. Oh, I wish I wouldn't have closed it. So in a nutshell, his mother. It looks like he was raised with the Israelite doctrine. His mother was an Israelite, and she sowed some seeds of dissension into his mind as a child. And when he became an adult, he acted on the sentiments of his mother, and he said that that Christians were his enemy.
Mm.
And he said that God told him to kill Christians because he was like they're hurting us. They're doing us a disservice. Like look around. Look at us dying. Look at the segregated communities. Look at the Jim Crow laws. Look at all the lynchings, right?
Right.
Burnings and the bombings. They're killing us, brutalizing us. And you're telling us to love them and turn the other cheek and wait for justice to come? He was like, no, they have
Mm.
to die.
Mm.
And he walked into the church, and I read he had two guns. Now he wanted to kill Jesse Jackson as well as Martin Luther King Jr.'s father. But the
Mm.
reason why he killed his mother is because she was closest to him.
Mm.
And so his attorneys tried to say that he was schizophrenic and had mental health issues, but his sentence was life in prison, and he died of a stroke, I think, in 1995. But he was very happy to have murdered his mother because he felt that, Christians were hurting Black progress.
Wow. Mm. 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 That's deep.
Mhm.
That is deep right there.
Yeah, that's sad. So this nonviolence got his family killed violently.
Exactly. Exactly.
You preaching nonviolent, you telling us to not be violent, But the same people that you're accepting money from, holding hands with, singing songs with, you want us to integrate with them, be friends with them. They kill you violently while you preach a message of nonviolence.
Wow.
And then his brother, they say his brother was a great swimmer. He drowns mysteriously.
Really?
Yeah, you didn't know his brother was murdered?
No, I didn't know nothing about that.
Yeah, his brother was a great swimmer. They say him. They say his brother drowning would be like Michael Phelps drowning, and he was in a swimming pool.
What?
Yeah, his brother was in a swimming pool, and they say he drowned. So he was murdered.
Mm.
And now what's left of his legacy, with the exception of a dream speech and a holiday that's not even recognized federally anymore. And I told you, everywhere I go, it doesn't matter where I go in the United States of America, there is a Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard in every Black community.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was driving down the street yesterday, when I was doing my little trip, they have the bus stops painted with Martin Luther King Jr. murals, and basically it was saying like, keep dreaming.
Wow.
That's not enough.
No.
Dreaming is not going to liberate our people.
No, it's not.
It's not going to help us. We need to wake the hell up.
Mm-hmm.
Wake the hell up. So he said, self first, let us try and be ourselves first and stop trying to be like the devil. Black man, you are created Black. You, Black man, are the first and the last. Black man, stop trying to be white. If you see if you see what Allah has prepared for the white slave master, the devil, you will run from the devil when you get a taste of it. Allah has prepared the fire of hell for them. The Holy Quran teaches that the Black man will wish that between him and the devil was the distance between east and west. But you serve the devil. You love him because he has made you to fear him from the cradle to the grave. Wake up. Didn't I just say that we need to wake up?
Exactly.
Wake up and take pride in Black self and come on and follow me. That he said, I have God with me. The God who says that there is no fear for the one who believes in him, and nor shall you grieve. And I guarantee you that I put money, these are the exact words that he told Martin Luther King Jr. when he sat in his presence at Elijah Muhammad's home in Chicago. Come and follow. See, look, he said, come follow me. That means you're not gonna take my place. Because I got the spot. I'm not gonna step aside for you. You're gonna follow me because God is with me. Ain't no fear over here, and the people are not gonna grieve anymore. Because Martin Luther King Jr. was saying, "Oh, I know you're grieving. I know you hurt."
Exactly.
He knew he knew of all the pain that we were suffering. But he wasn't saying, "Okay, now we got to mount up. We have to do something about this. We're gonna have to no, just love, just love, just love them. Be patient. Pray for them. It's gonna change eventually." And I believe the master was saying, "Hey, come over here. Come over here. We got you."
Exactly.
You have to cry. No, like being come to the rescue. Look, we got you. How many people do you think were in the Nation of Islam at this time? This was in 1966. What do you think the membership was like at that time?
I would say probably maybe like 100,000.
Damn.
Yep.
Ready to rock and roll.
Yep.
but he didn't want to do it because he would have had to take a seat back, a seat in the back, and
Yep.
learn, or maybe he was saying, "Oh, I'm a college graduate. I graduated from Morehouse. I graduated from Crozier. I'm a Baptist preacher, and I have a church waiting for me. I'm known all over the world. I have people following me." To give that up to come follow Elijah, he was not going to do that.
Mm, mm, mm.
That's pride.
Yep.
Because when you know the truth and you see the truth, as smart as he was, why just not accept it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have no problem saying I'm wrong.
Mm-mm.
If it's going to save a child, if it's going to save my family, if it's going to help save me,
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. Look, Dad, look, Pops, I'm sorry I disappointed you. I know you was, relying on me to graduate and come take, my position in the Baptist church, but that's not my position anymore. I
Mm-hmm.
have been enlightened to something greater, and I know it's going to help our people, but that's not what he did.
Yep. Ben Chavis, you know who that is, right?
No.
Well, Ben Chavis, he used to be the director of the NAACP. And Ben Jealous was the president of the NAACP at the time. And it was during the time of the Million Man March. And so when he got fired from that, then he became the national director of the Million Man March. After the march and stuff was over with, and at that Savior's Day, February 1996, he joined the Nation of Islam. And Ben Chavis was a big national preacher. And he left the church to join the nation. He joined, he was welcome in. And, they were trying to take his license away from him, the church. And he wanted to keep his license. So he went through all that. And he was going on tour. And I happened to be a part of his security detail when he came to Nashville, Tennessee. And he had a meeting with all the preachers. And I swear for God, I'm standing right up there on post next to him. And they like, look, we all can't do what you did. We can't just walk away from our church and join the Nation of Islam and get put on a national spotlight where, you're over New York City. That's a big mosque. You're over the Eastern region. So you left NAACP, you joined the Nation of Islam, and you got a big spot. We all can't do that. So, what you expect us to do? And he said, the gig is up. You got to stop teaching that and start teaching the truth.
Mm-hmm.
He said, we've been playing with our people for too long. You know what the truth is. And now you got to start teaching it. And the pastor, if you go back, because Minister Farrakhan spoke at that church, and he said, but this is where my bread and butter.
Mm.
I can't leave where my bread and butter is, because ain't nothing saying that I'm going to get a spot like you got. And he said, well, I can't. And he told him, he's like, look, we on borrowed time. We know what the truth is, and we better start teaching it, or there's going to be hell to pay. And that was the first time I seen Christian ministers, Black, admit that they were teaching a lie.
Mm-hmm.
But they couldn't break from it because this was their bread and butter. And I'm just standing there, because you ain't supposed to make no moves. You're supposed to like you gonna post. And I'm just like, wow. These bastards just admitted that they know that they teaching our people a lie, but this is their bread and butter. So they would rather continue teaching the lie to keep money in their pockets. Woe to the shepherd.
Mm-hmm.
Woe.
There's a I was just looking on Google. It's 11alive.com, and I'm just gonna read it in the background. And the title is Martin Luther King Jr. had a brother who died under suspicious circumstances, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this article was February 21st, 2020. It's very short, but it reads, and I don't know, because I'm not gonna go into, because when I click on the link
Mm-hmm.
to read further, it kind of takes me to a video that we're not gonna watch, but it says, God simply said to me that AD, which stands for Alfred Daniel, that was King's brother, Alfred Daniel King.
Mm-hmm.
God simply said to me that AD did not drown, he was killed. The fact to me, this is the person speaking, they say, the fact to me is that he had rings around his neck and scars.
Mm.
They murdered that man.
Mm.
See, they'll wipe out your whole legacy. They'll remove the stump, every last bit of it. Same way they did with Malcolm. His wife allegedly died under mysterious circumstances, and his grandson died over there in Mexico. And when one thing I realized, when white people use the word mysteriously, that's code word for we murdered him or her. Because they always want to use the word mysteriously, but every time I hear that word associated with a civil rights leader or a revolutionary, generally it is because they were murdered and they try to cover it up.
Mm.
So they'll wipe out the whole family. And we had and then, his father, when they killed this mother, we really didn't hear much more from the dad.
Right.
Why do you think that he was now silent after the murder of his son, the murder of his wife? Why do you think he was silent?
I think he got the message. They'll put a bullet in your ass if you don't shut up and do what you're supposed to do.
But shit, he was already dead. So why not just let him have it? He was that much of a coward? Because I would have been like, you can't kill me, motherfucker. I'm already dead.
Mm-hmm.
What can you? You took my son, my wife gone. I see now that all was in vain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm already dead.
Yep.
But still silent.
Do you know what his father position was?
A
Um,
pastor. I think his father was a pastor.
no, did he want Martin to be the spokesman and all that? Is that something that he pushed him to? Is that something that he wanted him to do, or was he against it? Do
I'm
you know?
not sure, but I'm not 100% sure, but I do recall reading that his father, when I was reading about Betty, the white woman that he was in love with,
Mm-hmm.
I think his father's dream was for him to take a position as a pastor in the church
Mm.
and to lead the movement in terms of civil rights. But and that's why him marrying a white woman, it would have disappointed his father, because his father had a dream for his son
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm.
go out and be that preacher, to take my place and walk in my footsteps. And that's not going to be with this white woman. So I think the answer to your question, although I'm not 100% sure, I really think that he was being groomed to take a position in the Baptist church, because that's a very, very lucrative profession.
Mm.
You have a congregation waiting for you with
Mm-hmm.
a salary that you can negotiate. And the more popular you are, the more money you can make from the church. They even will help you with housing. That's a very, very lucrative position.
Mm.
So if
Mm-mm.
his father was a minister, why not want the son to follow in his footsteps?
Right.
That's why he got his degree, and then he went to Crozier. So when he went to theology school or divinity school, he was walking right behind his father. So I would say the answer to that question would be yes, now that I think of it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm-mm.
Like father, like son.
Exactly. Exactly. Wow.
Learn how to hoop and holler. Tell the
Mm.
people what they want to hear. Preach love, not hate. Forgiveness, not avenging your aggressor, and just wait for Jesus to come.
Mm-hmm.
Let him work it out
Mm-mm-mm.
while we just take this passive approach and just sing and hold hands.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah.
Wow. I came across this video where I think is a white guy is on there talking about prayers, and this is the kind of prayer you're supposed, and it's a prayer thing that got a black person face on it, so it's guided towards black people. And on my next teaching that I'm gonna be doing, I'm gonna be talking about it because it shows you how they made you a worthless slave through that Christianity doctrine.
Mm-hmm.
It lays out very clearly how, it gets you to be praying about some place in the sky while you're suffering right here down on the earth. And these same demons that's putting the suffering on you, they pray to their God that they overcome you, that they kill you, that they take your place. And you waiting on some mystery God to come save you. The kind of hell is we living in.
And they using the same damn book that we were using.
Exactly.
How do you use the same damn book and get two different scenarios?
Exactly. Exactly. He took a goddamn world using that book. And you can't take a damn thing. You can't even secure your own block. There's a problem. There's a problem. There's a trick somewhere that you got to be able to see what the hell's going on. But,
Mm-hmm.
but as long as you worshiping a false god, long as you doing things that are against your own soul, that is against your own nature, you'll never see the reality of what you're dealing with. And that's our people. Stiff-necked, hard-hearted, and blind as long as the day is long.
Mm-hmm.
Because you want to love your enemy. And see, they look here. They make that thing, oh, you gotta love everybody. You gotta love it. That bullshit. You ain't gotta love everybody.
You sure don't.
You
Especially not someone that rape your child, rape your daughter, and kill your son and burn
exactly,
down your house.
exactly. No way in the world. No way.
I don't know if you could see this picture, but this is Martin Luther King Jr. in front of his house in Atlanta with
Mm.
a burning cross.
Oh wow. Wow. Mm.
They actually burned the cross
In his yard.
in his yard on his property.
Mm. Mm.
He
Mm.
was already marked.
Mm.
And Elijah Muhammad said, I tried my best. I tried my best to put fearlessness in him, but he
Mm.
wouldn't listen. And he admitted, he said, he admitted to me the white man is the devil. He admitted it to me, but he wouldn't leave it alone and come join me and follow me. You know how many mothers would have been saved? How many
Mm.
fathers would have still been alive? How many children would have not been on a tree hanging like strange fruit
Mm.
if he would have followed the master and had the backing of a nation who was ready to whoop ass?
Mm.
Righteously so. It only makes sense.
Yep.
It only makes sense.
I wonder because that's his son standing next to him.
Yes.
How do you explain that to your son? That they came out there and burned the damn cross in your yard. This same cross you see in church and you're supposed to love. And these people that you're supposed to love burning the cross in your damn yard. How do you explain that to your son? It makes no sense.
I don't know.
It makes no sense.
Or how do you tell people to not react when you see women being attacked by canines and fire hoses?
Mm-hmm.
And you say you're the leader. You are the face. You are the face of Black America. One of the faces of Black America. And you see the violence.
Mm-hmm.
But we're just going to hold hands and sing. Now, they might kick me in my head and spit on me, but we just going to pray and we're going to sing. Because we have to use soul force. Excuse me? Soul force.
Mm. Can't do it. Can't do it. Boy.
Get back over here. So, I don't even know where we are. Did we stop at cradle to the grave?
No, just think of the blessing.
Oh, okay. Just think of the blessing that is in those two promises. No fear, no grief. My God, today, just think of the blessing that is in those two promises. No fear, no grief. I know we have feared and grieved much. So if anybody needs a God to remove fear and grief from him, we are certainly the people. Fear of the devil, the white man, is what keeps us back from enjoying heaven. If we do think to please the devil, we are most certainly members of hell. Day and night, they are killing you and each other of their kind, and yet you want to please the devil. You cannot go to heaven pleasing the devil. To go to heaven, you have to please God. You, Black man, are directly from the God of heaven. Black man, you are created to serve Allah. You were not created to serve the devil. Come and follow me. Come and follow me, and there will be no fear for you, nor shall you grieve. We, the Muslims, fear none but Allah. And if anybody needs the fear removed from him, it is the frightened to death Black man in America. Self first.
Mm-hmm.
That's so deep.
Mm-hmm.
Just come over here, and you don't have to fear these people anymore. We're going to fight for you. We're going to fight with you. We're going to protect you.
Mm-hmm.
And if they touch one of you, they have touched all of us.
That's right.
And that is what he would not accept.
Exactly.
But yet, he is memorialized every year. He is put in our face. Like that's something to be proud of.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
What is the and I always tell people I am so sick of hearing about this man every year. And this lady, she's out in Texas. She's a news reporter, and I think I was telling you about how with this Trump administration, when they got rid of what is it called, DEI? Is that what it's called? Diversity, equity, and inclusion, right?
Right.
So they got rid of a lot of. They're not going to acknowledge a lot of holidays. So a lot of these holidays, they don't have any more federal recognition, and one of those holidays is Martin Luther King Day. And I was telling people, I say, okay, so it's not recognized federally, but it doesn't mean that you cannot recognize it. You can do whatever you want to do.
Right.
But and the lady was saying, so when Trump was inaugurated during Black History Month, there were some Black people that he acknowledged. If I'm not mistaken, Martin Luther King Jr. was one of them. And I
Right.
told her, I said, you doing us a disservice by posting this information, because this man is part of the problem. I said, you got to understand that the reason why they keep him in our face is because he's a safe Negro. He's very safe, because he's not going to fight. He's
Yep.
going to resist. And that's the message that you want to send to Black men, women, and children, to be passive and to resist. And for you all to be violent, but for us to have a non-violent approach to your violence. And I was like, girl, you out your damn league with this one. I mean, I like your little posts or whatnot because I'm so busy, and you are a reporter and you really, enlighten me on some things, but you need to stop. And this,
Exactly.
yeah, this shit here, boy, this really made me die. I am not an MLK fan.
Mm-mm.
I'm not a fan of his.
Mm-mm. It is so. Our situation is so rich with possibilities, but as long as we're buckled down by fear and grief, we'll never do a damn thing whatsoever. When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said self first, that's exactly what he means. Self first. But we're so quick to put on the cape and go jump for somebody else, to go march for somebody else. We should be so sick of marching that somebody bring up the idea, let's go march. No, we about to whoop your ass. We done did that before. We ain't doing that shit no more, But we keep doing these same things because we don't serve self first. We serve others than ourselves. The
Mm-hmm.
ability, our ability to define. See, we still go by what the enemy has defined for us, what our reality is, has defined for us what we're going to learn, how we're going to learn it, and how we're going to use it. We're constantly in situations where definitions and things have been defined for us instead of us defining for ourselves. What does this mean? What is the value? What education we got to have? What kind of way I want to live my life? We have to begin that process of defining for ourselves and carrying it out. This is something that we should understand, is this is something that we need in our lives. And we're not going to get it by praying and pleading that something is going to change. But you should have learned by now that it's not going to change unless we get up and we make it change. You have to be able to understand the problem, understand the answer, and be courageous enough to carry the answer out. And like I was telling you earlier today, excuse me, when it comes to the answer, most of our people don't have the courage to carry it out because they stuck behind fear. They're stuck behind grief. And we have to be free from that because that is our way out. He'll punk you every day if you let him.
Mm-hmm.
Every day if you let him. He'll ride your back every day that you bend over. He'll ride your back. And we got to be able to say enough is enough and stand erect. Stand straight up and knock the cracker off. Stop loving your enemy more than you love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's sickening. It sends the wrong message around the world that you can do anything you want to do to Black people, and the only thing they're going to do is love you. Only thing they're going to do is ask for forgiveness. Only thing they're going to do is reach out for a hug. No. That foolishness has to end. It has to end, or unfortunately, your life will end because you're dealing with an enemy who loves to kill
Mm-hmm.
and who kills with a smile on their face. And you just waiting around to be the lamb taken to the slaughter. And it really just has to stop. It really has to stop. Definitely.
Mm. We're on chapter 4,
Okay.
the black man. But before I read this,
Mm-hmm.
that's Stockholm syndrome. Because I was talking to somebody recently who was assaulted when she was a child, and she suppressed a lot of the hurt and pain.
Mm.
She functions in her with her depression, and she recently told me that she feels sorry for the man, and she wrestles with, yeah, and she wrestles with, what should be done to him. And I said, clearly he deserves death.
Exactly.
He deserved death. Because and I was meditating on her situation one morning, because I mean, she was asking me, like, can you imagine this? I said, I can't imagine none of that. I said, I'm sorry. No, I cannot imagine anything that you're sharing with me, because I know me. Had it been me, or my daughter, my son, or whomever, I know me. And as I meditated on her situation, Ecclesiastes dropped in my spirit the scripture about a time for everything, under a season. What is it? A time for everything, or there's a season for everything.
Yep.
That scripture. But
Mm.
it wasn't necessarily the part where it talks about, there's a time and a place for everything under the sun. It was deeper than that.
Mm.
Spirit revealed to me, in the place of justice there was wickedness. In the place of judgment there was wickedness. And in the same, in that particular chapter, it says that God will bring the past into account. And when I saw her the next day, I told her the word that dropped into my spirit. And I said, I don't know if this is correct. I said, but when you got assaulted, I said, God was trying to give you justice and pass judgment on your abuser, but something wicked happened and stood in the way of you not getting justice and him not getting judgment. She said, I was told to lie for him because he was in handcuffs, and they were supposed to go through the court system to get the case tried for him to, do time. But the because they were children, the adults manipulated the children to have them lie and say that it did not happen.
What?
Yeah. And so
Mm. Mm.
the time for, what's it called?
Mm.
The time has passed now.
Oh,
And
wow.
it's really nothing to my understanding. I mean, what you gonna do? And that person is still alive.
Oh, wow.
That person is still alive. And I asked her, I said, you don't think he's still doing this to other children? She said, I
Wow.
never thought about that. She said, I never thought about if whether, I say, trust me, at the age this individual is and the job that this person has, I'm like, trust and believe he's still out there doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I said all that to say, we can't let wickedness stand in the place of justice. And we cannot allow wickedness to stand in front of judgment.
Nope.
We have to be happy with these people being escorted out of this realm.
Mm-hmm.
They Some people just don't deserve to be here because they don't want us to live. They don't want us to be happy. They don't want to leave us alone.
Mhm.
And yeah, that was just so
Wow.
sad. So
Who,
sad.
who who was the person that told her to lie for him? Did she
Her
tell you?
mother, her mother.
Her mother?
Yeah.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah, and she sympathizes with her mom because her mom was abused. And so it's just a lot going on with that. But the bottom line is, how do we sympathize with people who abuse us? How
Mm.
do we not call attention to the fact
Mm,
that right is right and wrong is wrong?
mm, mm,
Why do we let people get away with violence and abuse
mm.
of the most horrific type? And we
Exactly.
don't see that we have a right to defend ourselves?
Mm, mm.
Isn't that, we have a right to defend ourselves?
That's right.
That's a human right
Mm-hmm.
to defend yourself, to
Mm.
defend your family, to defend your wife and your children.
Mm-hmm.
They pulled Emmett Till out of his uncle's house in the wee hours of the night.
That's right. That's right.
And that uncle knew that boy was not coming back alive.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Sure did.
If anything, the uncle should have been killed because you're
Mm.
gonna have to take him over my dead body.
Exactly.
You're gonna have to take this child over my dead body. That's the only way you're gonna get this child is over my dead body.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Mm. We see. And I'm trying to hold myself because
Yeah.
we let too much shit just go. We really do. We let too much shit just go. There's no way in the world that a mother should tell her daughter to lie for the abuser.
Mm-hmm.
There's no fucking way in the world because they hurt that girl unrepairably.
Mm-hmm.
Unrepairably. She didn't deserve that. But you gonna kill her and let the criminal free
Yeah.
when he should be dead.
Dead.
Your mother should be dead because you sold out your child. And I hope that this nigga wasn't her boyfriend or something like that. Because and I'm gonna say this too. That look here. When y'all get into these damnable relationships and the man calling you mommy and she calling him daddy, the fuck you mean? You better stop paying attention because this shit that you building up in people's minds, you don't know what this nigga come from.
Mm-hmm.
But the mind of, yeah, come on up here, mommy, let me get, okay, daddy. The fuck wrong with you? And then you gonna let this nigga around your child? You setting up shit in the mind that sooner or later gonna come to reality. And then you wonder why somebody done snatched your child. We gotta be real with this. You should never allow no talk like that that's going on. Well, let me put on my little cheerleader thing for my husband.
Mm.
He's gonna get to a point where he's going like, oh, I don't want this. I want the real damn thing. Then next thing you know, he after your daughter or your niece or
Or
the
your
next door
son.
neighbor
Or your son.
or your son.
They raping the little boys too.
That's right.
But it happens. This happens a lot. This happens a lot. And women don't say anything.
Let me tell you, I made it fucking crystal clear. My girls, my boys, I will fucking kill you and anybody else that even had an idea of what's going on, something coming wrong with my children. I told their mother straight up, you responsible. You responsible. Something happened on your watch, you's a dead some bitch. I'm telling you, straight up. And I was serious. And trust and believe, not everybody wanted to watch my children.
I know that's right.
They didn't want that fucking responsibility because they knew damn well I meant what I said. I meant what I said. And they said, no, your children good and they ain't got no problem with them. I just don't want the responsibility.
And that's the same passion that we should have had.
Exactly. Exactly. We have to establish the law.
Mm-hmm.
Period, point blank. And when somebody cross, they break that law, damn it, we got to be there to fulfill justice. There ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that will keep your children safe. That will keep your household safe. Yeah, people may think you crazy, but they ain't going to fuck with you or yours. I guarantee you that.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you that. They ain't going to bother you because they don't want to pay that price. I believe in execution. Trust and believe that. I believe in execution. And you come this way around mine, see what's going to happen to you. See what's going to happen. I ain't playing. I ain't playing. Because I didn't have children for them to be abused. I don't give a damn who it is. Not mine. I didn't even, when the police had my son and nephew, and I'm in the house on the radio doing the me and Doc's program, and I'm hearing the damn police helicopter over my house. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? A helicopter? I look out the window, my son and my nephew, the police got them. And I'm like, oh, hold on. I said, look here, Doc, I need to go out here and handle the situation. I'll be back. I'm putting on my shoes, lacing it up. And here, I'm getting in my mind already from jump. I'm going to kill. Ain't no ifs, ands, and buts about it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't give a damn whether I walked back in that house, but I knew my son and my nephew was going to walk back in. And as I'm going out the door, my dog trying to go out the door, I leave his ass in the house. And as I'm walking, I swear to God, as I'm walking, my son and my nephew say, no. They putting their hands up to me, telling me to stay back. Police is nervous. I could literally see fear in the police. And I'm like, what's going on here? And they was like, it's just a mistake. It's just a mistake. You know, they thought the car was stolen. It's the wrong car. You know, we'll be done in a minute. I said, you got 2 minutes to get your ass in the house. I come back in the house, tell Doc and them I'm back. They come in the door 30 seconds later, laughing and laughing and laughing. And I'm like, what's the fuck funny? It's like, man, you had all the police out there scared. They was thanking us, shaking our hand for de-escalating the situation. They were scared. And look here, there were police all the way up the left, all the way up the right. But I made up in my mind, I'm going to kill these bastards today because y'all not about to do that to my son or my nephew.
That's right.
Not going to happen.
That's right.
And you will literally see fear in their asses. I mean, they were backing up, and I didn't have no weapons. But my body was a weapon. My mind was a weapon.
That's right.
And I would have brung justice that day. And my son and nephew laughing because they ain't never experienced nothing like that before. They ain't never seen all them police get afraid over one black man. They never saw that. But that's when your mind. So we gotta, man, I'm telling you, this mind that we have, not the brain, but the mind that we have, It is more powerful than you can ever imagine. When we say that you are the God's relatives, you his children, trust and believe. Trust and believe. You should never have a fear. I don't believe Muhammad said, there could be 10,000 at my door. I will not be afraid. I will not be afraid. And this is what we got to understand. There ain't no time for fear. Ain't no time for that. And you know, and I'm gonna say this too. You know, that's one of the reasons why I love you, because you don't have no fear. You're not a fearful woman. You're not a fearful woman. You about what you speak. And I love that about you. I honor that about you. And I just thank God for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, ma'am.
But so I just don't understand. Like, so have you ever heard of Robert Williams, the guy
Yes.
who wrote the book Negroes with Guns?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
There was a court case that so there was a young lady, she was gang raped by 4 white men, and she knew who they were. And the case went to court. Of course, the white men were acquitted, and they were able to get away with that, you know, assaulting this black woman. And at the end of the trial, the black woman, she walked up. I think it was a few black women walked up to Robert and was like, "So now what? We've taken this case to court. We've taken the sole force approach. Like, we taking this shit to court. We letting the judicial system deal with it. We already know with an all-white jury this man was going to be acquitted. Like now what? See, you got some women who being assaulted, and they're going to black men, and they're like, y'all need to handle this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, y'all need to handle this shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when we take it to court, what's going to happen with an all-white jury? The white men were acquitted. They're allowed to just walk free. This young girl assaulted. And after that trial, Robert Williams, he realized that he was going to have to get guns to use as self-defense. But why did it have to get there for him and others to have that revelation? Like, how many people were going to be killed? How many women were going to be sexually assaulted because they were gang raping our women? Literally gang raping our women. That's traumatizing.
Yes.
Not just the rape itself, but rape by a white man, 4 of them at the same time. And she knew who they were and could name them by name. And we taking this to court for the white judge and jury to decide. Because I'm gonna be honest with you, somebody have to die.
Exactly.
Either you gonna kill me or I'm gonna have to do you, because I would not be able to live after that. There will be nothing for me to live for. I'm never gonna recover from that.
Nope.
Never. Somebody gotta go.
Exactly.
And so just a revelation to use guns after brutal assaults, like when we're like, we still sleep now to a certain degree.
Yeah.
We still sleep now.
Yeah. Yep.
So let's go ahead.
You know, I just want to say this, and I'm going to stop. But you know, there's a saying, and the white men use it all the time: peace is secured through strength. They didn't come up with that. That's Quranic. Allah came up with that. And he told us peace is secured through strength. The white man read the Quran, read and said, oh shit, let me use it. This is a principle that God gave these niggas. Let me use it for myself. And this is one of the United States policies. Reason why we got all these arms? Because this was going to keep the peace, because we're going to punk you out. But I want to show you when the Nation of Islam was buying farmland in the South back during this time, and the civil rights people were down there during this time, the KKK and the NOI, they had a meeting. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, look here, we are not the civil rights people. We don't want to share the street with you. We don't want to go to your schools. We don't want to marry your women. We are about doing for self. This is our land that we're buying and farming on.
Mm-hmm.
And we do not believe in letting you kick our ass and we're going to turn the other cheek. He sent Rock, I think his name was Rock Newman, not Rock Newman, the white boy name. I can't call it right now, but sent him to come to Savior's Day. And him and his little white army, swastika crackers, came to Savior's Day. And like you see the FOI on the screen, they saw the FOI, they saw the MGT, and this cracker standing there, he said, these are not niggas. These are black men and women, and we don't want no problem.
No problems.
No problem.
Huh. Bitch.
The messenger showed you, if you fuck with ours, we're going to kill you.
Rightfully so.
And them crackers backed up and didn't do a goddamn thing. Look, one of the FOI in New York City beat a mob boss son. The head mob boss beat his son. The FBI had the bugs in their offices, and they were talking about it, about what they're going to do to avenge the son. They was like, well, the nigga beat him up. Oh, yeah, well, who did it? Oh, it was the Muslims. Well, we can go find some, we can beat him up in a way that niggas fight, so they'll think that niggas did it. Then the other mob boss said, no, we better leave them alone because we don't want no drama.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want no trouble. And this was printed in the New Yorker magazine that it showed you that even the mob, when it come down to understanding power, would back up after an FOI beat his son. And when it came to, he's a Muslim? Well, fuck it. We ain't going to bother him. We don't want no smoke. Left it alone. They stole a truck one day. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, if our truck ain't put back by the time the sun rise, we coming to get you. We coming. What happened? Before sunrise, that truck was right parked in front of the mosque again. See, there's no fear. No fear. It is the NOI, it is the FOI who done killed police in New York City. Nobody went to jail. They tried the brother, but couldn't get a conviction, and it's still open on the books. They went into the mosque and got their ass whooped. Mm-hmm. Pulled out their gun and got killed with their own gun. No fear. No fear. And that's something that we got to give. That's something that we got to have, and it will change the circumstances of our people overnight. Overnight. No fear. But as long as you're afraid, them weak-ass crackers going to run you from can't see morning to can't see night. Hell.
So my question after listening to you would be to Martin Luther King Jr. is, what would make you think that white Americans can go from lynching to holding our hands?
Ooh.
Because they were castrating our men, raping our women before they
Mm.
hung us from the trees.
Exactly.
They were torturing us.
Exactly.
But we can go, how do you think we can go from that to holding hands and getting along and loving one another?
Mm-mm.
How am I supposed to love you? How can you love me? My child is dead.
Mm-hmm.
They beat Emmett Till until blood was running like water.
Mm-hmm.
They shot him in the head to where his mother could look through one end and see light on the
Mm.
other side. If I'm not mistaken, didn't they rip his tongue out and throw him into a body of water?
I knew he was thrown in water. I didn't know nothing about the tongue. But I
How
knew.
can I, how am I supposed to hold hands with these individuals?
Mm. Mm, mm, mm.
Homes burned down, completely destroyed, everything lost, including 3 little black girls when they bombed the church. But soul force,
Mm, mm,
not physical force, soul force. Love them, pray for them, forgive them, be patient, dream a little longer, march, get on a knee, bow, close your eyes, bow your head, and pray some more. It's going to change, I promise you. It's going to change. But they just pushed my dad in front of a train and severed his body. But soul force, pray.
mm, mm, mm.
They just raped my daughter. I know, but soul force, pray. They
Mm, mm,
castrated my son. He's over there, hanging from the tree with his eyes missing. I know, but sister, you got to pray. We can't meet violence with violence. We got to meet violence with love. That's the dumbest shit ever.
exactly. Exactly.
I don't know why a bunch of black women didn't pull up on and beat his ass. It
Mm,
wasn't hard.
mm,
It wasn't hard to pull up and beat his ass. Like, what, nigga? Since you look, the aggression had to come out some way.
mm-hmm.
He was supposed to get a good 1-2.
Exactly.
Like, he was supposed to get dusted for real
Mm-hmm.
with
Yeah.
that dumb shit.
Yeah.
Fuck you mean? My son is dead. Love. Remember I was telling you about the movie? What was the name of you told me the name. It wasn't 12 Years a Slave. You said it was I think the Butler.
Right. Mm-hmm.
When the white man came and took all the slaves out there working in the field.
Yep.
And Mariah Carey, she played the role of the female slave, and she's out there working in the field with her husband and their son. And the white man just casually walked up to Mariah and took her to a cabin and sexually assaulted her. And she's in there screaming. Everybody can hear her. He finishes his business, put back on his clothes, and walked out the damn barn after assaulting her past her husband like nothing was wrong. So Mariah, the slave son looked at his dad and said, "Daddy, ain't you gonna do something?"
Mm-hmm.
You know how many of our people had that same attitude? Like, what y'all want to do?
Right.
Because if all of us, I,
Mm. Mm-mm-mm.
I told somebody in my family yesterday, because they're very passive. They're very passive. They have the love your enemy mentality, and that's why I don't deal with a lot of people, because I will come across as an angry black woman. And I told them today, I said, I'm not angry. I'm just passionate about black people.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like dumb shit,
Right.
because when white America went home, it baffled their minds. How could we sit and just pray after all of the things that they did to us? I know they had to baffle their goddamn mind.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how in the fuck do you just pray over some shit and not retaliate after what the fuck we just did?
Mm-mm-mm.
How?
Mm. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. you know the question that you said that you would ask King, our ancestors after slavery was over and they were talking to the general, they didn't ask the question, they said it in a statement, because he said, do y'all want to be lived amongst us, or do you want your own little area? They said, we want our own little area because we don't trust y'all. We know what y'all do to us. So we need our own area away from y'all and y'all away from us. That's what they wanted. That was the right thing. But you have some of these so-called pastors, ministers back then, that want to love on our enemy. And look where that has gotten us. And you know, when you talk about the angry black woman, the question has to be, why are we angry? Do we have a right to be angry? When we stop and think about not just the stuff that we go through on a day-to-day basis, do we stop and we think about what our people have been through? The conditions that were laid out for us. See, they knew that they were never going to integrate us into the society like it was supposed to be done. They knew it was never going to happen. They said in 1965, well, hell, when their population reached 20 million, if it ain't done by then, it ain't going to never happen. We at 40 million. They knew in 65 it was going to never happen. So you've been tricked. You've been fed a lie all your life. I think we have a reason. We have a right to be angry. How in the hell can we be happy with the condition? Because the plan has been laid by our enemy. These demons planned not just 1, 2 generations. They are planning many generations down the line of how they're going to get over on us. And when we awaken to this plan, how the hell can we not be angry? Our anger is justified. Our anger is demanded. See, when you sad, nothing changes. You cry here, you cry there, and keep on moving. But when you angry, shit stops. When you're angry, shit gets destroyed. And now you got to build new. We should be angry. We have a right and a responsibility to be angry. So don't run from our anger. Embrace it. Embrace it. Because it's a God-given anger that must be shown. Fuck them. I swear.
And feed them fish on their birthday. That's something we say. Fuck them and feed them fish on their birthday. We don't give no fucks. Bitch, I'll feed your fish on your birthday. I remember my neighbor, he have some dogs that he was not putting the chain on his dogs, and they were roaming the neighborhood, and my daughter was walking her dog, and the dogs are used to like I think she was telling, because this happened so many years ago, but she was very concerned and afraid that his dogs would jump the gate, because it was some big ass dogs, a little ass gate, and she was like, mama, 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 like them damn dogs may get out and kill somebody. And so I went to the man's house because it was beginning to be a nuisance, and nobody was saying anything to that man. Like, everybody was afraid of him. And I remember my friend was in the car with me at the time. He was a guy, big guy too. And so I was like, you riding with me today? I got shit to do. And it
Mm,
just so happened that I remembered that I was going to stop by the man's house and talk to him about his dogs. I didn't do it while my friend was in the car. I did it because that's when I remembered to do it. It just so
mhm,
happened that he was in the car. And I remember I put the guy was outside. So I pulled up and I told him the situation. I said, sir, if your dogs hurt my daughter, I'm not going to take your apology. I'm just telling you that right now. I'm not going to accept your apology, and I'm going to want what I want when I want it.
mm.
And he looked at me like he couldn't believe that I was saying what I said, and I was dead ass serious. Sorry, it's not going to be enough for me, sir, if your dogs attack my daughter.
That's right.
And I looked, but I don't know how it happened, but I looked at my friend that was in the seat and he was cowering. He like slumped in the seat like he was so afraid. And
What?
I knew at that moment he was not the man for me.
Mm, mm,
Like, you cute, you real cute, but you a coward.
mm,
And I was done with that relationship that day.
mm, mm,
Because I don't need you to be a coward. I need you to jump on board and have my back when the shit jump off if these dogs attack my daughter. Because what you telling me,
mm.
I'm sorry, is not going to be enough for me. Whatever happened to her, that's what I need. We're going to get with you on the same, with the
Exactly.
same energy. Because you know better.
That's right.
Don't tell me you sorry after the fact.
That's right.
Get your shit together now so we don't have to get to that fact. Because if we do
Mm,
get to that fact, you going to have some problems.
that's right. That's
Because I
right.
already, I know me. I know me. I just know me. When it comes to injustice, when it comes to people doing dumb shit to harm me,
Mm,
that's where I draw the line.
mm-hmm,
Because I have something that will rise up in me,
mm,
and I just have to stay to myself. And because, like, there's no I'm sorry,
mm,
there's no forgive me. No, we're not going to do that. Because you know what you, like Malcolm said, there is no forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. They know what they're doing, and they're
mm,
experts
mm.
at it.
Yes. Yes.
It's one thing to be negligent,
Mm.
but that's not what when it comes to white America, they're not negligent, they're just evil. They know what they're doing.
Exactly.
Bringing your children out to the lynching, you, putting it in the newspaper. They would advertise it in the newspaper
Mm,
to get a crowd. And those crowds would bring their children and they would literally watch our brothers and sisters be lynched
mm, mm,
as if it was a sport.
mm,
And the children just sitting there watching it, putting those images into the mind of a child to say, this is what we do to niggas.
mm,
This is how you treat a nigga.
mm, mm, mm.
And you telling me love them and hold hands with them, and about your dream that one day we gonna all get along? How?
Exactly how. Mm,
So the black man, for the first time since he has been in the Western Hemisphere, is accepting himself as a black man and not as a colored man.
mm,
Although, my screen went out. Although the black man has been colored, now the black man has learned that the coloring was false and that the coloring came from a robber, the devil. After he, the devil himself, had put our black fathers asleep to the knowledge of their black selves, the white man pretty nearly destroyed all of the original color of us. And he has added in his own color. Never have we, the black man, been so happy to be called black. And the book teaches us that God will come one day and God will choose us, the black people, to be his people. We
mm,
did not know anything about the false color part that God had in mind to remove from us. But now God is here among us and he is teaching us the knowledge of our color, and we love our black color. And now we have learned that the color of our enemy has almost destroyed our original black. We are now waking up to that knowledge that black is the first color and the last color, if there be a last. And now that we have learned that black is a better color, we want to be black. You just do not have a better color than black. Black looks good all of the time. The beautiful part of black is that we love black. Since we now have the knowledge of the two colors, black and the false color, we are separating the original black color from the false color so that we can preserve our own black color forever.
Mm.
I know that's right.
Mm.
Don't even marry them. We got to preserve who we are. Don't do it.
Mm.
Because Elijah Muhammad was an advocate of marriage. That's one of the things that Malcolm talked about. Like, he really was like, look, get married.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be sitting there burning and fornicating. Just go ahead and get you a good woman and get married. But she got to be black.
That's right.
Look at Muhammad Ali. He didn't have any black women. He didn't have any white women, correct?
That's correct.
And lived a long, full life.
Mm-hmm.
You think Muhammad Ali would have lasted as long as he did had he married a white woman?
Nope.
He understood the assignment. And the master teacher said, the beautiful part of black is that we love it. And since we now have the knowledge, see, we got the knowledge now. Now we have the knowledge of the colors. So we're going to separate ourselves. We're going to separate ourselves so we can preserve ourselves. In the book, in the book, Malcolm X's biography, I used to say autobiography, but now that I know that Alex Haley was behind the book, in the book, Malcolm talks about how the white women would cross the train tracks at night to have sex with black men. And he said the blacker, the better. The darker they could get the black man, that's who they wanted. They wanted the as dark as possible. And something, I don't know what we were talking about, but see, when white, I think, and this is just a thought, during the days of like the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, there were black men who were engaging in relationships with white women. And the white women, they were in it, they were they were in a relationship together. And just like Martin Luther King was in a relationship with Betty, and it was consensual. It was nothing forced. They, like she said, they were in love. Right. To the white man who's looking in on this situation, they look at that as rape. Even though it's consensual to them and they fucked up hair, is rape. Right. And think about all, and because I was like, why all the time these goddamn white men claim that the black man raped the white woman? And I was thinking to myself, and half of that shit is a goddamn lie. He ain't raped that damn woman. And then I said, wait a minute. I said the black men, but I say some of those black men were probably having sex with those white women. And the white man took it as a form of rape. And that's why we have to be very careful. Because did you see the movie To Kill a Mockingbird? No. The way I read the book, because of a spiritual situation that I was going through, and Spirit told me to wake up and read the book. And I read the book and I understood what I was going through. But the guy in To Kill a Mockingbird, he would go to the white lady's house and help her around the house. If she needed something to be fixed, like he was a very everyday presence in the life of this white woman. And he wasn't having sex with her. He was just going to her house as though they were friends. Now, this is in the Jim Crow South. You, a black man, going to this white, and the father knew about it. And the man had a whole wife at home. You got a wife and children at home. You know you need some shit fixed in your own house, but you over here entertaining this white woman. And I forgot what happened in the book, but I know he was murdered. He went to jail. He was found guilty of a crime that he did not commit. But he tried to escape because they gave him life in prison and they shot and killed him while he was trying to escape. So, what is it about the white woman that, like John Henry Clark said, you can't find heaven between the legs of a white woman?
Right.
I've talked to black men, and these black men have told me when they had sex with a white woman, it was cold. They don't even have the warmth that we have. And I'm like, so how, like, I say, so you knew right there something was wrong. If I was the man, I would have pulled out so goddamn fast and say, what the fuck did I just get myself into? It's
Mm-hmm.
supposed to be warm down there, girl. You cold like the damn goddamn ice in the refrigerator. That
Good.
lets you know something wrong. That they're
Mm.
not 100% human like us.
Mm. Mm.
And they engage in. So I really do think that there's a possibility that some of those men could have been entertaining white women, and that's what possibly got them killed. That's just something I was thinking about. Because when
Mm.
you look at it historically, there are numerous accounts of black men being lynched because they allegedly raped a white woman. And I
Mm.
think that rape was consensual sex.
Mm.
I really do. And let me tell you how I came about that. Because when you really read Elijah Muhammad's work, he teaches you to use another side of your brain.
Mm-hmm.
That's undeniable. And sometimes like I just get revelation that I be like, oh damn. So that's just what I think sometimes.
Mm.
So the knowledge of black self given to us by him who knows us, we all should be happy and rejoicing to know that we, the black people, were never a wicked people until we followed the wicked one, the white man, after his wickedness. God has declared us, the black man, to be the righteous, and God makes it plain to see why we are the righteous. We are from the righteous black people by nature. We, the black man, are righteous by creation, and we cannot be other than righteous. This is the happiest time of the black man's life. It is the happiest time of our life to learn who we are and to learn that who we are, the black man, is the best of all people.
That's right.
That's it for that. We reached our goal. You want
Oh, wow. Wow. Okay. Mm. 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 Another awesome program. Sister Maya, another awesome program. Excellent job. Excellent job. All right. Looks like we have let's see who we got in the house tonight. Looks like we got Brother Forecast. Peace and blessings, dear brother. Good to see you. Brother William Bell, peace and blessings. We're glad to see you. Brother Willie Rivers, peace and blessings. We are glad to see y'all up in the house. Who's this beautiful black woman we got up here?
Oh, this is the Sudanese model. Her name is Nayakim. I think it's Nayakim. And she's in the Guinness World Record for being the darkest woman.
Mm.
This is her natural skin color.
Oh, wow.
But guess what? She wears blonde hair.
Mm. What?
I knew you was gonna say that.
She,
Yeah, she wears blonde hair, but she's absolutely beautiful. And a lot of the pictures that she takes, they're very sexually suggestive. So I just took these two
mm.
because they brought her ass over here from Sudan and got her showing her ass in bikinis and just showing
Mm.
all her glory. But
Mm.
this is her blackness.
Wow. Mm. 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 Boy, oh boy, she sell it out for the white man. What a damn blonde wig and showing everybody what you got.
Yeah.
Wow. Ain't no way. Ain't no way.
That's that Western mentality.
Mm-hmm.
That's that Western mindset to be like the slave master, be promiscuous like him, be
Mm.
jealous like him. Act like a barber, a damn barbaric individual like him. Lie like him. Cheat and steal like him. Don't have any loyalty like him. Break treaties like him. Be destructive like him.
Mm, mm, mm.
Look at how the music that we used to make, the music that Black people were making was so beautiful.
Yes.
So it was fun. It was just fun music. It was innocent. It was party disco music. But that wasn't good enough for white America. Go and change the lyrics and we'll give you a deal. Call your women bitches and whores, talk about drugs and killing and murder, and we'll give you a record deal. We'll give you the version of Martin Luther King Jr.'s Nobel Peace Prize. Now, I will say that the money that he got was like 54, between 50 and $54,000. And he said, Martin Luther King Jr. said he did not keep the money for himself. He donated it to the civil rights movement, allegedly. That's what he said.
Mm,
So, they know how to entice us with money and opportunity and fame and celebrity. And we have a lot of different things we need to denounce, not just religion.
mhm,
We have to denounce their ideas, their way of life, their traditions, their culture.
mhm.
The fact that they can just come and offer us something to debate, just to debase ourselves.
Right. Mhm.
They sexualize everything.
Mm, mm, mm.
Just nasty and disgusting.
Very, very. Ain't
But
no
you
way.
got
Ain't no way. This is why we need our own world. Simple as that. And even more when you say that is even more why I understand why all of them are getting off the planet. That is going back to its natural state. We can't have a righteous planet with evildoers on the planet. The weight of it is just not going to work. So, understanding that these demons are losing their ability to produce children. And it ain't just white folks, it's the Japanese, it's the Chinese. All of them have low birth rates, and some of them so low they're at the critical stage, but not when it comes to us. And so the movement that the God is doing to get rid of them, their time is up, is expired. And we're watching the dying process right before our face, but don't understand what we're looking at. And so this is something that we have to embrace. This is something that we have to understand, and we have to accept our own and be ourselves. Because if we don't, we'll be going on that same exit route that they are going on. And understanding that they know that they're dying, and they know they are our enemies. So they figure, well, since we dying, let's take as many of these damn niggas out as we can. So we have to be aware of what we're eating, what we're drinking. And I read in the medical magazine that I read every morning when I get to work that when they give people IVs and it's in these plastic bags, well, not only does the liquid get into your body, but the particles of the plastic bag get into your bodies.
Mm.
And it begins to clog up your veins. And
Mm.
they haven't figured a way to fix this problem that many people are now starting to suffer from.
Mm.
We have to be aware of what we're doing at all times. At all times. Little things, just like getting the IV, you need to be questioning. You got to be aware of what they're putting inside your body.
Mm-hmm.
It is very, very important. Very important.
Forecast Radio, this person says Ida B. Wells' book, The Red Record, I guess he said documents black men in consensual things with white girls and lynched.
Mm,
So look, see there?
mm. Yeah, Brother Forecast is very, very knowledgeable.
Mm-hmm.
Very knowledgeable about things.
That's what I picked up. I was like, why is it that so many black men were lynched for allegedly having sex with a white woman? I was like, what in the hell was going on? And all of a sudden my spirit was like, no, they were consensually engaging with these white women, but the white men took it as rape.
Mm, mm, mm.
And
Mm.
can you imagine how white men felt when Martin Luther King was talking about black boys holding hands with black boys and white boys and black girls and white girls and white people like, oh hell no. Oh hell no, they would not be holding hands. And then why do you think he put that part in his speech? Because that in the title is I Have a Dream, right?
Right.
Can you imagine how many nights he dreamed about holding hands and being publicly married to this white woman? And I believe he snuck it into his I Have a Dream speech because that really was his dream, to be with a white woman.
Mm. Mm, mm, mm.
And there was, like you said, no, sir, you're doing a little bit too much. You getting out of pocket.
Mm.
You know, you going a little bit too far. We gave you, we got you on a leash. And now they're envisioning a integrated society with us partnering with them, and they couldn't see it and they got rid of them. But that's interesting. I'm gonna definitely check out the Ida B. Wells's book. Now you know I have to go get this book. I'm gonna order it tomorrow.
Exactly.
Because they're gonna learn.
Yeah.
That was a no-no.
Mm, mm, mm.
That was a big no-no.
Mm-hmm.
What could you possibly want with these people?
Mm, mm, mm. Wow.
Your God's supposed to look like you. Your wife's supposed to look like you. Your children's supposed to look like you. How do you share your history, your pain, your struggle with your children, and they biracial? Because that's what we see now. A lot of biracial couples on television and magazines. They're pushing that agenda.
Exactly. Exactly.
We ain't forget. We ain't forget. We're not gonna forget.
Never. Never.
So that was nice. We finished chapters 3 and 4. Next week we will do 5, 6, and 7. And what about your closing thoughts? Because my brain is fried. I'm just weak right now. Thinking I'm just weak. This is taking my breath away.
Well, my closing thoughts is Black first. Black first. It's a lovely thing. As the messenger said, that we want our Blackness, we embrace our Blackness, and I would never trade my blackness in for anything. And, black is the essence from which all color comes. So never be disappointed in your blackness. Love your blackness. Embrace your blackness. You are the original. You are the Creator's nation. And that's something that you should honor, love, and respect. Truly love, honor, and respect. And you still have decisions, because just as the picture that is up of Martin and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you have choices. You can embrace Martin Luther King way, which is suffering, slavery, and death, or you can embrace the way of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, which is life, light, and power. Life, light, and power. And we definitely have to embrace. When I took my son down to Atlanta when he was about 8, 9, 10, somewhere in there, and we visited the King House. We went to their King Museum down in Atlanta. And I asked him as we were walking out, I said, son, if you was alive back then, would you be down with Martin Luther King after learning everything that you learned? He said, no, sir, Daddy, because I ain't let nobody beat me up. We're going to have to fight. I said, that's my boy.
Right. Right. I mean, they was just spitting on us.
Yes.
Like we fighting, literally fighting to eat in their restaurant while you ordering pancakes, eggs, and sausage, and they spitting in your damn grits and coffee.
Exactly.
You gotta be two kinds of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Even like now that I'm reading this book, when I was traveling yesterday, I
Mm-hmm.
didn't eat.
Mm.
I said I will wait until I can get my own food. So I got a little chips and a damn ginger ale. And I
Mm.
don't eat like that. But it's like I was like, I don't want, because I was pretty much in a place where it was all white people. And I'm like, I can't, I don't want nothing to eat.
Right.
Because we can't trust them.
Exactly.
And they people still do, nasty, filthy, and disgusting things like that. And
Mm.
this is just this is why studying to show yourself approved is so important. Black history should be something that we do on a regular basis, not just 30 days out of a year consistently just for that month. No, this needs to be a lifestyle,
Mm.
because right now we need to understand that we still should not be eating from their restaurant.
That's right.
We should have a place where we can go and eat in peace without fear of them spitting in our food.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe somebody may be like, oh, well, they wouldn't do it now, but they did it before. And we should still be sending them the message that we don't trust you because we know your history. And
Exactly.
understanding your history helps us understand who you are today.
That's right.
You're sitting at a lunch counter and you want to be served at a goddamn lunch counter. You didn't mean to tell me you ain't have no mom and pop shop where a bitch was cooking some goddamn pancakes and eggs to go and support that restaurant?
Mm-mm-mm.
The foolishness behind all of this. I don't give a fuck about your pancakes. Can't nobody cook pancakes like a black woman.
That's right.
My mama used to cook them from scratch with lemon juice. Sometimes you bite into a goddamn pancake, you bite into a seed, you spit that bitch out and keep eating. What? What?
Mm-hmm.
You ain't have no goddamn black restaurants to go get some pancake, eggs, bacon, and sausage and coffee? But we want to fight to eat at their goddamn lunch counter. That's the dumbest shit ever.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And they only changed it. They did a study. Are you aware of the study, Selling to the Negro? It was a study where Jet Magazine was a part of, Johnson Publishing was a part of that, to teach white people customer service when it comes to serving and selling their services and products to Black people.
I didn't know Ebony played a part in that.
It was Johnson Publishing. So whatever magazines they own, Jet Magazine and
right,
whatever magazine, if it was Ebony, I think I did see Jet in the opening credits. And so they did a study because, you know, white people had the racist mentality and their misconceptions about Black people and how we shop and how we spend money. So they had to enlighten them on us, on our spending habits, to open up a new market for them to make money, because they didn't even want us in their stores. They didn't want us in their stores. But we fighting to get to shop with a group of people, a demographic of people who hate us. But they taught them customer service so that we could buy their products and services and get rich. We have a mental problem.
Sure do.
We have a mental health problem. Something is definitely wrong with us. You know, we can't be feeding our babies. We can't be feeding our babies to dogs, to these wolves.
Nope. Exactly.
So that's our story, and that's Forecast Radio say 2 pounds of crazy, LOL, more like 10 pounds.
Definitely. Yes. That's a good brother right there, Brother Forecast. And he put together really good videos.
Okay, I gotta check him out. He's on YouTube?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I gotta check him out. I'm gonna subscribe to his channel.
Definitely. Yes. Well, family, we thank you all for coming out and spending your time with us once again. And we will be back next Tuesday, and we will be dealing on chapter 5. Chapter 5 out of the book, The Fall of America. And me and our great hostess, Sister Mayat, who brings that fire and energy only the way that she can. We say thank y'all, we love y'all, and as we always say, you kill the nigga in you, I'm gonna kill the nigga in me, and our God will reign supreme. We are Black first, today, tomorrow, and forever. Love you, family. Peace and blessings. Assalamu alaikum. Shalom.
So you better get the message and get it straight. You're gonna need some bridge work. It's simple as that. Because we're living in judgment. We're living in implementation.